Hello guys, this is Mapshina and welcome back to our virtual classroom. So this is the first time that I will be making a video for marketing management. So I'm happy that I am doing this again. Last time we have discussed about analyzing consumer markets. So today we are going to discuss about analyzing business markets. So going back to the first chapters that we have discussed in marketing management, we know that consumer markets are markets where consumer products are sold. So, ibig sabihin nun, consumer products class are products that are bought for final consumption. So, they buy it because they want to consume it. So, business markets are usually siyempre mga business, mga industrial products din ang binibenta wherein they are selling products that they want to resell or products that they transform into another product. Okay, so basically, yung business market natin is all about organizational buying, usually B2B siya or business to business transactions. Okay, so I think that's enough for the introduction. I will now be showing my screen. Okay. Okay. Sorry, siya naka-start. Okay, here we go. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Okay, so let's do this. So it's all about analyzing business market. So first, let us define what is organizational buying. So it's a decision-making process by which formal organizations establish the need for purchase products and services and identify, evaluate, and choose among alternative brands and suppliers. So basically, organizational buying is something more formal than consumer buying. It's because you have to establish a relationship, as you can see later. So, in order to discuss that, we have different characteristics of business markets here that we can really differentiate from consumer market. So basically, business market class has fewer larger buyers. The business marketer normally deals with far fewer and much larger buyers than consumer marketer does, particularly in such industries such as aircraft engines and defense weapons. So, parang this is something basic kasi, di ba, kapag consumer market, individual yung mga customers mo, kaya mas marami sila. But this one kasi, they are transacting with the business itself. Natapos yung business itself, pwedeng meron din siyang ibang business na katransact or mga individual markets or individual customers. So, fewer larger buyers talaga to. Okay. The second one is it business markets have close supplier customer relationships than consumer markets. Because of the smaller customer base and the importance and the power of larger customers, suppliers are frequently expected to customize their offerings to individual business customer needs. So basically, close supplier customer relationship, it is because yun nga, dahil nga maliliit lang yung mga customers nila, they have to customize depende sa need ng mga tao. For example, you are a HR company, you have to train people, ganyan. So, depende sa industry nila kung ano ang gagawin mong training plan or something like kung ano ang mga isasuggest mong strategies, depende rin sa industry. Kaya maganda and so to say, mas close or closer yung supplier-customer relationship compared to customer markets. Okay. The third one is all about professional purchasing. Business goods are often purchased by trained purchasing agents who must follow the organization's purchasing policies, constraints, and requirements. So many business buying instruments, for example, for quotations, requests for quotations, proposals, and purchase contracts. Professional siya kasi kailangan talaga ng papeles at ito mas more on merong contract, merong mga agreement, ganyan na kailangan minsan ng mga bidding, ganyan lalo na sa mga government agencies, right? At kung ikumpara mo sa consumer market, anywhere, everywhere, ito kailangan mo talaga ng receipts, kailangan mo talaga kasi i-reflect yan sa financial statement ng company, ganon. Okay. The next characteristic of a business market is multiple buying influences. So more people typically influence business buying decisions. So buying committees that include technical experts and even senior management are common in the purchase of major goods. So ang ibig sabihin nito, they have a lot to consult, to consider before they say yes to a particular supplier or to a particular business that they have to transact with. So, meron silang mga tinitrain na sales representatives and teams talaga to transact, hindi yung isang tao lang. Okay? And next is multiple sales calls. A study by Mark Rohill found that it took 4 to 4.5 calls to close an average industrial sale. So, ibig sabihin nun, it is a long process that they have to negotiate. So multiple sales calls means hindi lang siya makukuha sa isang isang bargain lang. Okay, so ibig sabihin maraming process pa yung pagdadaanan niya. So for capital equipment sales for large projects, it may take many attempts to fund a project. Sales cycle between quoting a job and delivering the product that can even take years, right? Lalo na kapag yung mga customized mga si airplane parts, ganyan. Okay. Next is derived demand. So the demand for business goods is ultimately derived from the demand for consumer goods. Okay. Ang ibig sabihin ng derived demand class is naka-base yung demand ng business goods sa demand from consumer goods. So basically, although ang nagtataan sa class ay business to business, they have to closely monitor yung end users nila, which are the customers, para mag-derive nila yung demand. Okay, for example, I am a supplier for potatoes. Sabihin na natin potatoes. Ang customer ko, McDonald's. Okay? So basically, kung big company ako, for example, international company na provide ng mga ganun, mga potatoes, ganyan, I have to closely monitor yung buying behavior ng mga tao. Gusto ba nila ng patatas? Okay, para ma-derive yung demand. Na-derive yung demand ng businesses na kumukuha sa akin. Okay, so basically, hindi lang dapat yung business, yung kinoconsider mo, but rather yung customers or yung end users. Okay. So the next one is an elastic demand. Okay. So, ibig sabihin nung inelastic class, kasi ganito yan, sa economics, meron tayong tinatawag na elasticity. So, ang elasticity is yung responsiveness ng price, for example, sa change in demand. Masasabi natin na ang demand is elastic class kapag tumaas ng konti yung price, yung demand niya, ang laki ng pagbaba ng demand. Okay? So dito, sabi kasi niya, inelastic yung demand. So ibig sabihin, hindi masyadong affected ng price changes yung demand for business goods. Okay. So ibig sabihin, kung pag tumaas ng konti yung price ng product, hindi masyadong malaki yung effect sa pagbaba ng demand ng mga business goods or business products. Okay. Next is fluctuating demand. So, ang fluctuating demand is something hindi siya consistent. So, pag ganun siya, very volatile than consumer goods or services. So, a given percentage increase in consumer demand can lead to a much larger percentage increase in the demand for other products. Okay. Next is all about geographically concentrated buyers. Okay, kapag business market ka kasi meron kang particular geographic region where you sell a lot. Okay, ito kasi, for example, consumer products, dito kasi Shopee, Lazada, ang daming napupuntahan ng products mo. Pero kapag ang kausap mo kasi business, kunyari, based siya sa Baguio, based siya sa Manila, doon lang talaga nakafocus yung, yung mga customers mo, syempre. Doon lang talaga sila nakalocate. Okay? Then, of course, this last na characteristic ng business market is it's direct purchasing. So business buyers often directly from manufacturer rather than through intermediaries. That's right. So kapag kasi B2B, usually wala nang mga gitnayan kasi mas lalong nagda-direct na lang sila sa manufacturer mismo. Wala nang intermediaries para at least makuha nila yung buong profit nila. Kasi di ba pag dumadaan sa mga third party, dumadagdag din yung price. So they have to direct sa mga consumers. Kasi maramihan naman yung binibili nila. Okay. Yeah. So there are a lot of characteristics ng consumer market, business market dito when we would like to differentiate them. Ayan, no? Demand of organizational, individual, number of customers, location. Ayan, location is concentrated, right? Distribution, more direct, more indirect, nature of buy, more professional, multiple, more complex. Reciprocity, big sabihin, it is something na reciprocity is mutual, right? So leasing is greater promotion, mas more on personal selling siya kasi you have to target big companies. So ibig sabihin ka isang company lang na malaki ang customer mo, meron ka ng malaking profit for that. Okay, more differentiation here and more participants in the purchase or business market. Professional purchasing effort, more complex decisions, often higher risk. Process is more formalized. Buyer or seller depend on one another. Build close long-term relationship with customers. In terms of marketing mix, predominantly sales force, prices often negotiated, right? So mataas ang bargaining power ng mga buyers in business market. So advertising and other communications are frequently technical. Okay. So in business markets class, there are three buying situations. So first is yung straight rebuy. In a straight rebuy, the purchasing department reorders items like office supplies and bulk chemicals on a routine basis and chooses from suppliers on the approved list. So the suppliers make an effort to maintain product and service quality and often propose automatic reordering systems to save time. Ang straight rebuy class, for example, meron kasi yung tinatawag na reorder point to work in sa operations, so hindi ko alam kung na-discuss mo na. Pero the reorder point is, yung inventory nila ay na-reach ng ganitong level, automatically mag-o-order na sila or something like every 10th of the month or 15th of the month, mag-deliver kayo ng 5 trucks of potatoes, 5 trucks of this one, gano'n. So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng straight rebuy. So, usually consistent siya at pare-parehas at usually naka-schedule. So, the modified rebuy, the buyer in a modified rebuy wants to change product specifications, prices, delivery requirements, or other terms. This usually requires additional participant in both sides. The suppliers become nervous and want to protect that account. The suppliers see an opportunity to propose a better offer to gain some business. So, ang modified rebuy class, not necessarily na consistent. Pwede kasing magbago yung supplier nila depende sa kanilang need. So, for example, they need new equipment na ganitong specification. Eh, nakita nila na merong other supplier na makakapagbigay sa kanilang better price, same quality, or same product. Pwedeng bilhin nila yon. At pwedeng, for example, ang bibilhin nila 10 million worth. Pwedeng 5 million sa isang supplier, 5 million sa isang supplier, depende sa need nila. So, kaya siya modified rebuy. Okay. Yung new task naman is a new task for purchaser buys a product or service for the first time. Okay. For the first time, ibig sabihin nun, nag-change sila, pwedeng nag-change sila completely ng kanilang supplier, ganyan. But syempre, this has greater cost or risk kasi hindi naman nila kabisado yung, or bago lang sila, kaya new task siya. Kaya hindi naman nila kabisado yung mga suppliers, ganyan. So, mas maganda rin na meron kang mga pinagtatanungan, sino ang magandang supplier, ganyan. So the greater the cost or risk, the larger the number of participants and the greater their information gathering. So the business buyer makes the fewest decision in the street rebuy and most in the new task situation. That's right. So new task buying is the marketer's greatest opportunity and challenge. So the buying process passes through several stages: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adaptation. Mass media can be most important during the initial awareness stage. So salespeople often have the greatest impact at interest stage, and technical sources can be the most important during evaluation. So online selling efforts may be useful at all stages. In the new task situation, the buyer must determine product specification, price limits, delivery terms and time, service terms, payment terms, order quantities, acceptable suppliers, and the selected suppliers. So basically, um, during the buying decision process ng mga businesses, may mga times na kailangan mo talagang maki-negotiate, ganyan. At hindi lang iisang sabi nga natin sa previous, hindi lang iisa ang nakikipag-negotiate. Pogi, meron silang team na well-trained for pagpo-bargain. Kaya, yung isa sa mga skill na gusto kong matutunan, yung parang nakikipag-negotiate ka sa for lower prices, ganyan. So yan, please read this, more of this, use the steps. Okay. The next is yung tinatawag nating buying center. So it consists of all the individuals and groups who participate in the purchasing decision-making process. So share some common goals in the risks arising from the decision. So the buying center includes all the members of organization who play any of the 7 roles in the purchase decision process. So mas maintindihan natin na ang buying center kung alam niyo itong mga to. Okay. The first one is initiator. Okay, ang initiator usually siya yung nag-initiate, siya yung nag-start. So users or others in the organization request that something be purchased. So usually, kung by department to, okay, kailangan namin ng photocopier, kaya kailangan natin bumili. So initiator ang tawag doon. Okay, second is user, those who will use the product or service. In many cases, the users initiate the buying proposal and help define the product requirements. Okay, so pwedeng yung initiator user ay pwedeng same sila, right? So third is influencer, people who influence the buying decision often by helping define specifications and providing information for evaluating alternatives. So basically, ito yung mga technical people or influencers na you should buy the specifications, ganyan. Or pag bibili sila ng laptop, dapat ganito, Core i5 siya, dapat ganitong brand, gano'n. Kasi they know the specifications. Fourth is decider, people who decide on the product requirements or on suppliers. Okay, sino bang nag-approve ng suppliers, ganyan. May mga time kasi na what we call the conflict of interest. Kasi ang pinipili nilang supplier yung directly connected sa business nila or something like that, but is very unethical. Yan. 5 approvers, people who authorize the proposed action or of deciders or buyers. Yan. So, pwedeng, ito yung mga higher ups, ganyan. 6 is buyer, people who have formal authority to select the supplier and arrange the purchase terms. Buyers may help shape product specifications, but they play their major role in selecting vendors and negotiating. Yung mismo makikitransact are the buyers. Okay. 7 is gatekeeper. People who have the power to prevent sellers or information from reaching members of the buying center. Okay, as such as purchasing agents, receptionists, telephone operators. Yan. So that may prevent from contacting user or decider. Several. Ayan. So the question here, class, ayan, pagsasagot kayo is, sulat nyo number 1. Okay. Do you think that these roles are exclusive? So ibig sabihin, kunyari, itong department na to siyang initiator, dapat ba isa lang ang role nila dito or can they occupy several roles at the same time? Okay? can the people or businesses or departments ganyan occupy several roles, or dapat ba exclusive lang na okay, kung initiator ka, hindi ka na pwede mag-user, influencer, decider, or something like that. So that is the first question uh, for this chapter. Okay. So framing, that occurs when consumers are given a perspective or point of view that allows the seller to put its foot forward. So, ang framing is yung decision framing na tinatawag natin, or framing, yung para kang naniligaw, best foot forward, na you put all the best characteristics of the product para ikaw yung piliin. So it can be simple as making sure customers recognize all the benefits and cost savings afforded by the firm's offerings, and becoming more influential in customers thinking about the economics of purchase, owning, using, and disposing of product offerings. So usually dito mo na binubuhos yung mga promos, or minsan kapag pumipili ng supplier at meron silang mga proposals, ganyan. Usually, we have the same vision, i-relate nila yung sarili nila, yung ganun. Basta best foot forward, ibig sabihin, best characteristics, yun yung ipapakita mo para silang naliligaw. Okay. So the next is the stages in the buying decision process, or business buying process. So basically, ito ay similar sa consumer buying process natin. Okay. So the first one is problem recognition. The buying process begins when someone in the company recognizes a problem or need that can be met by acquiring a good or a service. So the recognition can be triggered by internal and external stimulus. The internal stimulus might be a decision to develop a new product that requires new equipment and materials, or a machine that breaks down or requests new parts. So yun yung problem recognition natin. So the next one is yung general need and need description, and at the same time yung product specification. I think dito lang tayo tulad sa problem recognition kapag when in terms of consumer buying decision process. So next, the buyer determines the needed items, general characteristics, and required quantity. For example, you need to identify yung characteristics ng mga machines, anong specifications niya, anong brand, ganyan. Okay. So upon setting the description and specification, you need to search for a supplier. So the buyer next tries to identify the most appropriate suppliers through direct directories, contact with other companies, trade advertisement, trade shows on the internet. So minsan nagpo-post sila na looking for suppliers for this item, etc., etc. Okay. So okay, the next one, and then, so meron mga ibang dito, online marketplaces that you can search for para makahanap kayo ng supplier. Pwedeng catalog sites, vertical markets, pure play or auction, company, spot for exchange markets, private exchanges, barter markets, buying alliances, ganun. Okay. Next is, kapag nagkaroon na kayo ng supplier research, you need to solicit for proposal. Hihingi na kayo ng supplier ng solicitation or proposal ng inyong supplier. So, but the buyer next invites qualified suppliers to submit written proposals. So, after evaluating them, the buyer will invite a few suppliers to make formal presentations. So, business marketers must be skilled in researching, writing, and presenting proposals as marketing documents that describe the value and benefits in customer terms. Oral presentations must inspire confidence and position the company's capabilities and resources as they stand out from the competition. So, basically, isa rin to yung sa proposal solicitation class is kailangan kasi magaling talaga yung pagsusulat. Kumbaga, lahat talaga ng mga characteristics, yung in terms of pang flexible terms, ilalagay mo lahat ng mga needed details to make sure that swak siya sa hinihingi ng iyong buyer. Okay. So, meron tayong tinatawag kasi na elevator speech, elevator pitch or something like that. Na minsan kailangan dito ng mga ng papeles pero minsan kaya mo rin siyang i-negotiate kumbaga in just a few minutes, ganon. Okay. Sa startup yun hindi ko maalala, elevator pitch or something like that, na pwede mo siyang i-persuade in just 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. Next, syempre, kapag nagkaroon ka na ng mga proposals, so nagkakaroon tayo ng supplier selection. Before selecting a supplier, the buying center will specify in rank desired supplier attributes, often using a supplier evaluation model, such as in table 7.2. So you can check that in table 7.2. Okay. Next is order routine specifications. Yan. So, ang order routine specification is kapag nag-select ka ng supplier, the buyer negotiate the final order, listing the technical specifications, the quantity, warranty, and so on. Okay. Syempre, after that, kapag tapos mo na yan, it's yung for performance review naman yung last. So the buyer periodically reviews the performance of the chosen supplier in one of the three methods. So the buyer may contact end users and ask for their evaluation, ganyan. Read the supplier on several criteria using a weighted score method or read the cost performance to come over adjusted cost of purchase. Ayan. So, very, very important ang performance review is because it may lead to continue, modify, or end a supplier relationship. Kasi imagine niyo kung anong supply ng supplier, yun yung supply nila sa mga customer nila. Kaya kapag yung supplier, hindi maganda yung quality, ibig sabihin, hindi rin maganda yung feedback sa kanila kasi sila ang nag-deliver nun. So, ganoon ka-importante ang suppliers. So many companies have set up incentive system to reward purchasing managers for good buying performance, leading them to increase pressure for sellers for the best term. Okay, and the last one is all about institutional and government markets. I think this is one of the four major markets that we discuss: consumer, business, institutional, government markets, and global markets. So institutional market classes consists of schools, hospitals, nursing homes, prisons, or other institutions that must provide goods and services to people in their care. So buyers for government uh, organizations tend to require a deal of paperwork from their vendors to favor open bidding in domestic companies. Suppliers must be prepared to adopt their offers to the special needs and procedures found in institutional and government markets. So yun, so basically kasi, especially in PSU, in the university or any government institution class, nagkakaroon talaga ng bidding yan. Usually yung lowest price, sila yung pinipili kasi meron siyang process na sinusundan. Okay, I think that is the end of my discussion for this chapter. I summarize it kasi syempre we have lots of things to discuss. So ibig sabihin, we have lots of things to discuss. So ito yung mga pinaka-importante. And yung mga na-discuss dito is the coverage of our quiz or exam in the future. Okay, if you have questions, do not hesitate to send me some questions here, and I will be uploading another video for, I think it's all about identifying market segments and targets for our next lesson. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Bye, guys.